Welcome to the Nonprofit Digital Success Podcast. I'm your host, David, and in this episode, we're going to be covering the importance of SEO for nonprofits and charities with my guest, Brandon Leibowitz. Since 2007, Brandon has been running and operating SEO Optimizers, their digital marketing company based out of LA that focuses on helping small and medium-sized businesses get more online traffic, which in turn converts into client sales leads, etc. It's a little bit different in the nonprofit and charity world than the business world, but it's really important to think of yourself as a business. You need to drive traffic into your site. You need volunteers. You need to get people to come to your events. You need donors. Very similar lessons. Brandon, thank you for joining the show today. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today.
So SEO is search engine optimization. It is, can you define it for everybody in case anybody hasn't heard of it before?
So SEO is a way to get free traffic so you don't have to spend money on ads. So like helping people save money because, the ads work, but they're just expensive. And once you stop running ads, you just disappear. Whereas with SEO, you stop doing SEO, you're not just going to disappear completely. You're still going to be ranking for the most part until your competitors do more SEO than you've done and try to outrank you. But SEO, search engine optimization, is just long-term strategy to help tap into that free traffic from Google. So it is ranking websites on Google. So when you search on Google or any search engine, there's ads at the top. Those are all paid ads. Right below the ads is organic, the free listings, and SEO is getting you in the free listings. So you're not paying for the ads.
One of the things I think a lot of people think about is like they'll go to Google and they'll search for their organization name. And if they come up, that's really great. But is that a good strategy?
So searching for your own company name is called branded search, where this is your brand. So if you're not showing up for your brand name, that's a big red flag that something's wrong, because you should show up for your brand name unless it's a really common name. Then Google might mix you up with other people and not know what your company name is. But you don't really want to rank. You want to rank for your brand name, but that's not going to get you new eyeballs. To get new people, you want non-branded keywords that don't mention your brand name in. Because imagine you search for Target. You know Target. You've been there before. You haven't been there. You might not have been there, but you know about Target. You've heard of them. Versus someone searching for men's sunscreen, and then Target ranks for that. That's going to get them a sale versus someone or a new eyeball, hopefully. They might have been to Target before in the past, but they're searching for a keyword that doesn't include the brand name. And that's really what you want to focus on, is making sure that you show up for non-branded keywords, because that's going to get new people, new eyeballs on your content. It's good to have your brand name. You definitely want to make sure you have that one ranking, but ultimately it's the goal for SEO is the non-branded keywords.
Right. And I think that's a really great point, is you need to think about what it is that people are going online and searching for that you want to show up for, right? So what are those keywords? And Brandon, do you have any strategies in terms of what people can think about in terms of researching the keywords that they might want to show up for?
I would just go into Google, search for your keywords, see who's on that first page of Google, and look at, so when you search on Google, there's ads, skip over the ads, but look at the organic, the free listings, and you can see this blue clickable link, which is called an SEO title tag. That's where everyone puts their keywords. So you can just quickly search for your keywords and see what other people are using. You can see synonyms, plurals, variations, industry jargon that you've maybe never heard of. And that will give you ideas. And I would just make a big list of as many keywords as possible. Don't hold back, just write down as many keywords as possible. But searching in Google is going to let you spy on your competitors. And on that first page of Google, they've done something right. And they're more than likely doing keyword research. They're not just picking random keywords. Some people are, but to get to the first page, you got to do some stuff. So I would look at what they're doing and then use different tools like the Google Keyword Planner. It's a free tool from Google that will show you how many people actually search for those keywords. Because just because your competitors are using it doesn't mean it's the most accurate or relevant keyword. It might have been good 5 years ago, but maybe times have changed where people search for different variations of that word. And so you got to always double check using different tools. But the Keyword Planner from Google, it's a free tool and it's from Google. So I would use that one first, but there's plenty of other paid tools. If you want to buy a paid tool, that will show you how many people search for those keywords. They just make it look prettier and nicer, but they're just taking their data from the Google Keyword Planner and just making it look more presentable.
So if you're listening, we're going to have a link for Google Keyword Planner on our show notes page. Just go over to nonprofitdigitalsuccesspodcast.com and search for this episode, and we'll have all the links that Brandon and I chat about today in the show notes for you. So yes, it's important you go into Google. If your organization focuses on dementia, let's say June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month, go in and search for that and see what other similar like organizations are doing and the words that they're using. And I think that's a good piece to pull out.
Yeah, it's a quick, easy way to do it without getting too technical. Just searching Google. Google's going to pretty much show you everything you need to know.
It's fantastic. And one thing to mention is SEO is a long game strategy, right? You start making some changes on your site. It's not going to happen overnight. It does take time. So Alzheimer's Awareness Month, if that's something that you want to focus on, you need to be working on that a few months in advance. Do you have any tips with regards to how far in advance organizations should be thinking about things?
SEO is not immediate, unfortunately. So if you want immediate results, paid ads will get you that immediate traction. SEO takes a couple months. If you're a new website, it could take 6 months or a year. I mean, it just depends how competitive the keywords are that you're trying to target, because it's not really a one size fits all. The SEO, it really just depends on your website versus the competitors. How much SEO have you done versus the competition? That's all that matters. We don't care about Google or their algorithm because it changes every single day. And if you try to figure out how Google works, tomorrow it's going to change, and every single day it's going to keep changing. But who's on that first page of Google? That's really what matters. Who's on that first page of Google? How much SEO have they done? And if you're a brand new website, and it really comes down to these backlinks. So the backlinks are what ranks websites. So backlinks are clickable links from other websites that point to yours. So if you're reading an article in like the LA Times and it says Brandon Leibowitz and you click on it and it goes to my website, I'd be getting a backlink from the LA Times. The more websites that talk about you, the more trust Google's going to give to you. And then they look at the keywords on your website to figure out how to rank you. But it doesn't really work the other way around. Without backlinks, it's almost impossible to rank on Google. And the way to figure out how long it's going to take you to rank is you got to figure out how many backlinks do you have versus the websites on that first page of Google. If you're a brand new website and you only have 5 backlinks and you compare that to 500 backlinks, it's going to take months, maybe even a year to rank. If they have 5,000 backlinks, it might take a couple years because they built it up over the years, so much trust and authority from Google that you got to find keywords that just aren't dominated by big players. So if you're a new website and your competitors only have 5 backlinks and you have 5 backlinks, then you should be able to rank for your keywords within maybe a month or so. But it just depends on those backlinks. The backlinks are really the biggest factor with SEO, is trying to figure out how many backlinks you have versus the competitors. Usually people say on average it takes about 6 months to rank a website, but again, it's not really a one size fits all. Every website's different. Every keyword search is going to be different. So you just got to figure out where the disconnect is between you and your competitors.
So if you get a spam-ish kind of email and it says, we will rank you number 1 in Google in a week, ignore it. It's not true. Throw it out, forget about it, and move on. There's something called, if we can just geek out for a second, Brandon, there's something called domain authority, right? And what is domain authority and how does that play in to your SEO backlink strategy that you're talking about?
So Google made PageRank. That's how they rank websites. And that'd be a scale of 0 to 10. And they unfortunately stopped showing you what your PageRank is. So in the past, you could see, oh, I'm a PageRank 4 or I'm a PageRank 7, which is really high up there. But now Google took that away a long time ago. So other third-party tools came in and made their own ranking system where they're trying to guesstimate at what Google is. But these are all third-party tools that are not Google. So you can look at them, take it with a grain of salt, but just because you have a high domain authority doesn't mean anything with Google, because there's ways to manipulate those domain authority because people sell backlinks, and the higher the domain authority, the more someone's going to buy it for. So there's Moz as domain authority, page authority. There's Majestic Trust Flow, Citation Flow. There's Ahrefs that has their own metrics. And what I do is I look at all of them, because just because it has a high Moz domain authority, it might have a really low trust score and citation score from Majestic, which is really important. And that's one that a lot of people don't look at. I would look at that one over Moz's domain authority because it gets so spammed, but all of them are spam and they're not Google's algorithm. So it helps, but just take it with a grain of salt because it's not accurate at all. They're just guesstimating, and there's ways, unfortunately, to manipulate it.
Right. So domain authority ultimately is like how trustworthy your site is and how popular you are, right? And so if you can get a link from a big name like LA Times, right, to link to your organization, that would have a higher trust factor in terms of Google and their secret sauce algorithm that nobody really knows what the right formula is. So if you can get listed, if you can get some media attention, if you can get somebody somewhere on a big enough site to drive backlinks back to you for a specific article or a topic or maybe a profile of your CEO or executive director, right? You might be able to increase your SEO ranking.
Yep. So it's scale of 0 to 100 for Moz and Majestic and Ahrefs, all these other third-party tools. They go from 0 to 100. Google went from 0 to 10. So similar, but they're just guesstimating it. But it is looking at, well, there's different metrics, but like Majestic is looking at trust flow. And then they're also looking at citation flow because they don't want to just look at one aspect. They want to make sure that you're getting good backlinks, but they're also trustworthy and not spammed, because if you get the wrong type of backlinks, instead of ranking higher, you actually drop down in rankings. But the biggest part with the backlinks is relevancy, making sure you find websites that are related to you. You don't want to just be on any website. You got to be on websites that are related to you. That's really number one. Authority is definitely important, but relevancy is the most important because Google looks at relevancy for everything. How relevant are the keywords on your website to the keywords that people are searching? How relevant are the backlinks to your website? Because if you're like a mechanic, like an auto body shop, and then you're getting backlinks from a doctor, that looks a little weird. Like, why is a doctor linking to a mechanic? But if the mechanic has other auto body shops or car manufacturers linking out to them, that makes sense. So you want sites that are related to you. And then authority is great too. Like if you get in the big publications, that helps out a lot because those ones are just so trusted. Like Google looks at the big websites and trusts them a lot more than smaller websites. So the bigger websites get a lot more SEO value that's passed on to your website.
For sure. So if there's any associations or governing bodies for your organization, connect with them, see if they can list you on their site, because then you've got the relevancy factor in there. There might be other organizations that you have partnerships with. Maybe they're not doing the same type of work that you're doing for your nonprofit or charity, but maybe they're doing something kind of similar and you have a bit of a joint venture type of thing going on. Have conversations with them about linking back and forth between each other. And that'll help you and that'll help them.
Yeah, the more sites like that, BBB, Chamber of Commerce, any of that stuff. And that's where Spiner and your competitors can show you all of their backlinks using tools like Ahrefs or Moz or SEMrush, all these paid tools. You can throw anyone's website in there and see all their backlinks.
And these tools are not very expensive either, right? We're probably talking like $40, $50, $60 a month kind of thing, right? Somewhere kind of in there. Or you can hire an expert that's already using the tools like Brandon and his team over there at SEO Optimizers and have them help you out with a solid strategy that will help you. I think it's obvious what the benefits of SEO are, but Brandon, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's just really getting that free traffic. That's the main thing. So you don't have to keep spending money on paid ads. So tapping into that free traffic, and people trust the organic more than the paid ads on Google. But the main benefit really is that free traffic that you're going to get.
Who wouldn't want free traffic, right? You don't have to take out ads, right? You're just putting some content on your site that's rich in keywords and what it is that people are looking for on your site. Take a look. If you don't have analytics installed on your site, get analytics on your site. Look through the data on a weekly, monthly basis. See what people are searching for that are coming into your site. Produce more content around that, because that's obviously a topic of interest that is going to drive more traffic to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You got to have analytics. If you don't have Google Analytics or Google Search Console, both free tools, you're really kind of just going at it blindly. Their data is there to show you what's working, what's not working, what pages get the most traffic, which pages get the least amount of traffic, which pages get the most traffic, but has the most amount of people leaving immediately, which you're not going to get that if you're running Facebook ads. There's a thing called the bounce rate, which shows how many people came to your website and left immediately. And a lot of people don't know that their bounce rate might be like 90% of the traffic that they're sending from Google ads or Facebook ads is leaving immediately. And that's where you got to really dive into the analytics and look at the data and just make more statistically informed decisions about what's working and what's not working.
And that'll also give you some details in terms of referring domains. So you can see where you've got backlinks coming in, and it's built into Google Analytics for free. So, get on that. If you don't have it already, go and sign up. It's free. Get it on your site right away. and start looking at the data. Give it a couple of weeks so that you have a bit more robust information in there.
Yeah.
And, talking about websites, it's great. You're going to, after listening to this episode, you're going to go, okay, and you're going to start producing content that's rich in the keywords, that's going to drive traffic to your site. But then we need to convert, right? And we need to turn those into people that are either going to be following you or donating or looking to volunteer or getting more information about a program or a service that you might be offering. Do you have any tips on how people can optimize their website for conversions?
You just gotta really make sure that you have all the information at the top of your website, because what people see on a website is called above the fold. Once you start scrolling down below the fold, and most people will never scroll down. So having all the important information at the top of your website, good call to action, a value proposition explaining what they're going to get out of it. Maybe have a video up there, or just really minimal, less is better. And then you could have a bunch of text and stuff below that. But the top above the fold needs to just really be having the most important things, not having too many distractions, especially with mobile too. You don't want to have it cluttered. So less is better, but it's all about just testing, seeing what's going to work, what's not going to work. You could A/B test your website and split test the traffic. Half the traffic gets one version, half the traffic gets another version. You can see which one converts better, because there is no perfect website. You should always be testing and tweaking it.
And that's where the analytics can help you out, right? You can take a look at the data and see what people are clicking on, what might resonate more than the other. If you're going to do split testing, you can take a look at the colors that you're using, or you can take a look at the wording that you're using on those call to actions that will make it stand out and work better. One thing to note, scientifically, you should only change kind of one thing at a time so that you can properly know, okay, well, this is what it is. So if you want to change the color, but don't change the color and the words and the position of it, because then you don't know what it is that actually increased the click-through rate or the conversion from that.
Yeah, one at a time. You don't want to go too crazy unless you're getting a ton of traffic. But even then, it's still going to be complicated. So if you have a ton of traffic, you can test a lot more, but usually it's best just one thing. Keep it less. Simple is better. And then you could just keep testing and see what's working, test out against something else, and then find the winner, test out against something else, find the winner, test out again, and keep on testing, because there's no perfect website.
And that's true for your email marketing as well, right? When you send out an email, if you're using MailChimp or Constant Contact and you're sending stuff out, try changing maybe the time of day or the day of the week that you send that message out, and do it 3 or 4 emails in a row. And then you'll have some pure data to really identify what it is that worked.
Yep. You just got to think about who's your audience. Are they parents? Then maybe you want to send it before they're sending their kids to school, or maybe in the afternoon when they have some free time, or after they pick up their kids. Or you got to figure it out, or if you're selling concert tickets, maybe you want to send your emails out on Thursday to let people know about the concert on Friday, or if it's on the weekend. But you just got to try to figure out who's your audience, when are they going to be aware, and how do you get in front of them at the right time before it's too late. And just try to really just take a step back, put yourself in the user's point of view.
I think that's really solid advice, right? Take a look at your analytics. Well, first have analytics, take a look at the analytics, make iterative changes over time so that you can better and improve what it is that you're doing. And in terms of improving what you're doing, social media is kind of all over the place. It's in our face. It's getting more and more popular. More people are using it, certainly during COVID over the last, 3 years. How can you use social media to help grow your organization?
It just depends if your audience is on there or not. You got to take a step back and think, who is my audience and where are they going to be? If you're a dentist, something like that, probably not going to get too many people coming to you on social media, like on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Probably not looking for dentists or there. But if you're selling a product or something where it might go viral, that could work really well. Or if you're a musician or sports, those work really well on social. But like myself, I'm an SEO company. Not many people are going to go on social media to find me. But I use social media to put a face behind the company, to let people know that I'm a real company, that they could ask questions, they could read reviews, they could see status updates. So social is usually a way for, once people have found you online, then they vouch for you and check you out on Yelp or social media or TripAdvisor or whatever it may be, to check your reviews and make sure you really are who you say you are. So social helps in a way to just build trust, but get new clients too, but really yet to run paid ads for the most part because there's no reach, there's no engagement anymore. So social has really become a pay to play platform. If you want visibility and exposure, you got to advertise just because reach is so low. Like on Facebook, 5 out of 100 people that like your page will ever see what you post. That you're having to boost it up and advertise. So it's really tough to get that engagement. You spend all this time getting 100 likes and 5 of those people will ever see what you post. The rest of the people will never see it unless you advertise to them. So kind of tough to do social nowadays. But if that's where your audience is at, you need to be there. It's just really trying to figure out who's your audience and where they at and what platforms are they on. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be on the ones that they're on.
And I think that's a very fair point, right? Find out where your donors, your volunteers, the people that care about the work that you're doing, where they're hanging out, and go into those spaces, right? It might be TikTok, right? Or it might be Twitter. It might be LinkedIn. Who knows where it is? You can reach out to your donors. You can reach out to your volunteers and ask them, hey, like what social platforms are you using, and do like a little bit of a survey, try to dig in and get some information about that, and go after one of those platforms to start. Maybe go after a second after that. But connect with them. Let them know that you're on those platforms. And even if you have staff, let them know that you're on there. And when you post something, if it's big enough, maybe send an email to all of your staff and be like, hey, if you have a minute, go on and like this or share it or something like that. I know it seems a little disingenuous to do that, but you need to start building your audience from somewhere.
Yep. It helps out. Cross promote as much as you can and try to tap into as many sources of traffic as you can. But just make sure that that's where your audience is at. That's the main thing. Just try to figure out where are they and how do you want to get in front of them at the right time. If they're on Google, are they on Yelp? Are they on TripAdvisor? Where are they? Are they on Amazon? They're all have algorithms. It's just making sure that you optimize to get yourself ranked higher.
Exactly. And on those platforms, you want to be posting content that you have on your site to drive traffic back into your site. The social platforms have their own part to play in Google's algorithm as well. And, that kind of pulls it all together. And wanted to ask you, does SEO work in 2022? Is SEO still something that people should care about?
As long as there's search engines and as long as the search engines aren't full of ads, then SEO still works. But if Google is just full of ads, then SEO is not going to work. But I don't think Google's going to do that because people don't want just a page full of ads. But we'll have to see what happens in the future. If there's no more search engines, then there's no more SEO. So just try to figure out what's going to happen. Are there still going to be search engines? Are people going to be searching in the future? Or are we just going to be tapped into something and don't have to search, or living in some alternative reality in the metaverse, or who knows?
I think it's important to still focus on SEO. I think Google is going to, and Bing, which also powers Yahoo in terms of the database right? I think they're still going to be around for some time. People are using the platforms. They're monetizing it by selling ads. And maybe down the road, they'll probably have more ads and try to drive more revenue that way. But I think probably for the next year or two, we're probably safe with how things are. But then again, who knows, right? Maybe they'll go and just shake things up and kind of stir the pot a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. But ever since I've been doing SEO since 2007, they've been saying SEO is dying out. And so I don't think SEO is going anywhere anytime soon, but who knows? But ever since I've been doing it, people said SEO is going to be done. And that was in 2007. And they've been saying that even before I started doing SEO. So I feel like people just say that to scare people off because they don't want them to do SEO or they want them to run paid ads and make Google more money.
One thing to pay attention to, in my opinion, is don't just put like a whole bunch of keywords into an article. You want to make sure that it's relevant to the content that's in there. Do you have any what you shouldn't do moments that you can mention?
Don't build backlinks that are low quality or from irrelevant websites. The backlinks are really the tricky part because with the content, the main thing is just don't have duplicate content. Don't reuse the same content on multiple pages on your website. Don't throw keywords in there, spamming people. Don't hide your content in like font size 0.001 and your white background. You have white text, like stuff like that, which is pretty obvious that you're manipulating or tricking Google. But the backlinks are where you could be getting backlinks and you think they're good backlinks, but they're actually bad ones. So that's where you just got to be very, very careful, making sure they're relevant, making sure they're not from spammy sites, making sure they have some trust and authority, but you got to be careful. That's the tricky part with backlinks.
Some amazing insights today, Brandon. Thank you so much. To everybody listening, I want you to take action on something that Brandon spoke about today. go maybe change the title of your homepage just a little bit, just tweak it just a little bit, just to put that keyword maybe as the first word in the title, and see, over the next 2 months, what happens, or 3 months or 4 months, what happens with your website, with your traffic. And I don't think that you're going to regret it at all. Brandon, during our pre-show, we were talking a little bit, and you've got a special offer for everybody listening. The gift. Can you tell us what that's about?
Yeah, so everyone that's listening, I create a special gift for them. If they go to my website, SEOoptimizers.com, it's SEOoptimizers.com/gift. They can find that there, along with my contact information. And I do a lot of classes. All those classes are up there for free. So if they want to learn more about digital marketing, they can find all that there.
That's awesome. Free SEO resources, everybody. Go and get it. Go. Stop listening to this podcast. All right, finish listening to the podcast. We're almost at the end here. But then go and check out Brandon's site, SEOoptimizers.com/gift, and we will get you the links also on the show notes. Thanks again so much, Brandon, for hopping on. It's been great having you on the Nonprofit Digital Success Podcast. To everybody listening, as I mentioned, show notes page, links and resources for Brandon, as well as his contact information. And until next time, keep on being successful. Awesome.
Nice.